Joe, you want to talk about another thriller game? I don't know why people said that this wasn't a thriller. In the rainstorm, Oregon, the Ducks who love rain, find a way. Dante Moore, another quarterback that found a way in the last drive. Iowa takes the lead late, but Oregon able to get the field goal late to win it. Man, when you recap this game, what are your thoughts?
Look, I said this coming into the game. I thought that the Iowa defense was incredibly misclassified by a lot of people. Iowa's defense is incredibly fundamentally sound. And also the other part about this, Iowa's offensive line was one of the best in the country coming into this game. Like, I give Oregon a lot of credit before we talk about the how the game ended off. They managed to rush for 261 yards against one of the best defenses in college football. They also held one of the best offensive lines and rushing attacks in the sport to 101 yards. I thought that they won the line of scrimmage battle, and I know that Iowa marched down, had that long drive in the fourth quarter. That was the only real drive that they pieced together that they had success with. Most of their drives stalled and got completely stopped in short yardage situations because they were going 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and eventually they'd be a yard short of converting. Blake, the biggest part with this, and it's a very similar sentiment to what we just had with Indiana, Dante Moore had a bad game. Like, he was in a really tough spot. It was pouring. It was not a situation that they were supposed to succeed. The run game took over when they needed to. But, dude, they got the ball back with 1:51 to go, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't think they're going to be able to do this. It's pouring. When was the last time you seen a game-winning drive in a torrential downpour? They move the ball down the field. They kick a field goal, and Atticus Sappington, man, that dude had the best game out of anybody. He killed it, and he took the opportunities that he had to win and to set up his team to succeed. Same sentiment as Indiana, Blake. Oregon deserves credit when it seemed like their season really was on the line. They would have probably been knocked out of playoff conversation because they wouldn't have had many opportunities to, like, really establish themselves.
Yeah, USC, they would have to beat USC, so winner take all.
Right, because Washington lost. So this is a great, great job by Oregon for responding when they needed to most.
I'm not going to get on Dante Moore. Can I tell you why? Name a receiver that had experience that didn't go down.
Yeah,
and
that's the point.
Look, for Oregon fans, if you want to know, just ask me, but I'm not going to say the connection that I have there. You can put it all together. I reached out about the DK Moore injury because he did not go. Here was the text that I received. He twisted a knee, should be okay, probably not season ending. We'll monitor. We'll monitor that situation. However, Sadiq wasn't there either. I mean, Joe, I got to be real with you. Then you have another receiver that goes down. They are beat to shit at receiver. They're beat to shit from pass catching. Both teams were one-dimensional. And I got to say this to the Iowa defense. How do you know that a team's one-dimensional and you almost give up 300 rushing yards? Like that, you know, that that's insane, number one. So not only are you in the rain, but you got a lot of situations going on. I got to be real with you. You're right. I thought Dante Moore looked sloppy. I don't think he looked sloppy in the sense of that he was making bad decisions. I think he looked sloppy because he had a slot receiver that ran a wrong route and he threw a pick, right? And the coaches are yelling. This is how I know that, like, it's not on a quarterback. You got both the head coach and the wide receivers coach yelling at a receiver for running a wrong route, and the ball gets picked. Regardless of all of that, Joe, when everything, again, like you said, was on the line, we just got done talking about this with Mendoza in Indiana. Boy, he found a way. Do I think Dante Moore's got to clean some things up mentally on some of the things? He took took a sack late in the third quarter. He has no business taking. He's got to throw the ball away. But, Joe, this was a slugfest. Literally, in the definition of slugfests, this was it. And Oregon was one-dimensional, and they still – that's the thing for me with Oregon. I thought they could go in this game and lean on them and Iowa not score. I didn't think they would – I ought to be blunt with you. I didn't think Iowa was going to score as much as they did. Certainly didn't see that 12-play, 90-plus yard drive coming. They actually made some throws, a long wheel route. I just couldn't – I was mortified completely. In all of that, you were a one-dimensional team on the road with your top pass catchers out, and you won against a ranked opponent. Who else wouldn't get credit for that? There are other teams with not the Oregon logo that would get credit for that. Joe, what do you make though of that long drive from Iowa? Because I got to give Iowa a lot of credit. Man, they threw the ball in crucial downs, right? Like, I mean, it's not like that they were lining up and running the ball in crucial situations on third down. They did at the end. They were throwing the ball on them. So the reason I asked that is because that's exactly what happened in the Penn State game, right? Like, let's go back to the Penn State game earlier in the year. What happened? Indiana the same too. Late in the fourth quarter with the game on the line, the secondary got tight and big pass plays happened. That's not once, not twice, but 3 times that we've seen Oregon in a crucial fourth quarter situation where big passes, even from Iowa, are getting connected on you. I don't know what to make of it at the current moment because I don't think their secondary stinks. But I got 3 games that I can point to and say to myself, Penn State, they came back because they threw the ball all over you. Indiana, they ended it by throwing the ball all over you. And then Iowa with multiple big throws to then take the lead. That's why I point that out. But again, you're one-dimensional. You find a way. Your young quarterback gets it done, gets the passes completed that need to be. One of the best drives that you'll see all year, and you kick the field goal and win it.
Yeah, I don't think that their secondary is a liability, but I agree with you. I don't either,
but what do you make of that?
The trend's a little bit troubling, and I know that they've got some youth in their secondary, so I think that some of it might just come from that. I think that the real takeaway here is that this is not – Oregon is, like a lot of the teams in the top 10, is flawed. They have some issues that might catch up to them, not now during the regular season, but rather
it'll catch up
in a game in the playoff
with USC.
So that was what I was just about to say, is that I think that if there's a game that they could potentially be on alert and they lose in the next couple of weeks, it would be the USC game. I think if they lost to USC, they wouldn't get knocked out of the playoff. I think that as long as that game is close and they theoretically lost it, as long as USC's in the playoff mix, Oregon would still probably be one of the last teams in because the ACC and the Big 12 are probably only putting in one team each. I don't think that we're going to get to the ACC a lot later in the show. It's in a segment and a couple coming up. I think that there's going to be room for Oregon to still get in. And also, but I just want to kind of round back with the Dante Moore comment. I wasn't trying to criticize and crap all over Dante Moore.
I know you weren't.
It was just I know you weren't, but just for Oregon fans so they understand. I was trying to kind of set the stage here that he had no one to throw to. It was pouring rain. There was no reason for him to have pulled off that drive. And you
still won.
Right. That's why it's so crazy. And I think that where I now feel excited for Dan Lanning and I feel excited for this Oregon team is that I feel like Dan Lanning's shown this ability to win in different ways. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things that we've talked about with Dan Lanning. You know, we talked about it last year before the Ohio State game. You know, can he win a big game? And he finally won a big game. And now we're sitting here talking about, can he win when they're facing adversity, when they have to pivot and do things differently? Because this team, a lot of their production and their success was coming off of big plays through the air and using Kenyon Sadiq and using DeCorian Moore and using Malik Benson, turning to all these guys that were these big splash play receivers. And your run game was important, but you had to really run the rock in this game against a team that had built their identity through just punching people in the mouth. You were the team that punched them in the mouth on both sides of the football. And that to me really is a testament to the culture that has been created in Eugene.
You got to be able to put a team away, meaning you can't get a field goal before the half. You got to be able to go in and score. Joe, they force a safety. You got to go get points, right? Like you got to go get like the punt safety does not go as a turnover. It is a turnover. Joe, I give an example of the punt safety you got no points off of, and then the fumble in the third quarter you got a field goal out of. So I got 3 times, Joe, where they should have put the game away too, and they didn't. And you ran the ball for damn near 300 yards. Like you're going to have to put some of these teams away when they give you that opportunity for you to continue to go where you want to go. Because if you don't, you're not going to, like, this isn't going to happen every week. You got to put a team away because I mean, look, man, you can't have that many turnovers and only get 6 points. I mean, you're leaving so much on the table.
Yeah.
Moving forward, Dante Moore, Joe, who's going to be there for him to throw the football to? I mean, like that concerns me more than anything is what's the status of DK Moore again? Joe, I was told not season ending, could be back as early as their next game. We'll see, man. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. No, hopefully they get him back or at least get some reinforcements because they need it. Now is the most important time of the year.
Completely.